Hey folks, it's Ari from Real World Explosion, and you are watching Aconnectiontv.
I'm the best. PGC review on YouTube.
I am Wesley the Crazy Man. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
Driver, roll up the partition, please. What's going on, everybody? I'm Wesley from Aconnectiontv, the one channel on YouTube where we actually adopt similar connections despite our differences. And before I get into this particular episode, Flirting with Disaster, Rhoa, I need y'all to like this video, share this video on Facebook and Twitter, and make sure that you guys get ready, get comfortable, get some snacks, and, you know, get ready to use your fingers and leave comments. I read all of your comments about everything, and you guys seem to go off the most about Real Housewives of Atlanta, and it's interesting reading all of the comments and seeing your point of view on certain things. Who's at fault? Who isn't at fault? What would you do? What wouldn't you do? But this particular episode wasn't dramatic filled, but it was still nice to actually see these people be able to get along and to bond and to open up. It was nice. It was nice. We started this episode off with Miss Lawrence and Kenya Moore, talking about the dinner that occurred the night prior. And the first topic of discussion is Portia. Now, y'all already know how I felt about everybody getting all into Portia's business. On one side, it doesn't matter who knows the truth because God already knows it. Okay, so that's one. On the second side, if it's none of your business, then mind it. Okay, mind yours. Mind your business. You do not need to know what happened with Cordell. I can kind of understand it a little bit more if Cordell was still a part of the cast and you guys were a part of the dramatics because y'all all are a part of the cast. I mean, which is the reason why they go on these trips collectively, because it's a cast type of trip and y'all are all on this show together. But Cordell is nowhere to be found. Peter had to go and have a private situation with Cordell. I mean, I don't even think Cordell is on the paperworks anymore. So why even involve him and why talk about someone that's not present? That just doesn't make sense. Granted, Wesley, I know everybody talks about everybody on this show when they're not present, but that's still, like Miss Lawrence says, baffles my mind. Kenya has made up her mind in regards to Portia, stating that she was hired to be whatever it is she was to Cordell. And Ms. Lawrence was like, if people perceive you to be gay, or if people have that thought of you being gay, you getting a wife is not going to change that. Now, that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true at all. There are a lot of individuals that think that just because the cover looks grand, that the inside of the book is going to be a great story worth reading. But you can't judge a book by its cover. Okay, not all the time. But people do judge a book by its cover. So if you hear that this guy is gay, i.e. Jeffrey on the haves and the have-nots, he puts a girl on his arm and then he's no longer gay. Let me read into that real quick without giving all of my time to that particular topic on this particular video. To all of the females that watch me, I have done coverage about this particular topic, the download topic, and I will end it off with this. Just because a guy plays sports, just because a guy is macho, just because a guy is in a gang, or just because a guy is thug, just because a guy is homophobe, just because a guy loves to eat pussy, just because a guy looks at titties and ass like it's a T-bone steak, just because a guy talks about all of his adventures with a female does not guarantee you that he is not bi-curious, he is not down low, or he is just not flat out gay. Okay? We all play roles in this world, and some of us play them to a T. Okay? Some of us are winning Oscars without even needing to be nominated for an Oscar. So let me just go there and say that. You will never know that that guy likes guys, or that the guy likes a guy, or are attracted to men. You will never know if they don't want you to know. The only way that you will ever find out is when they actually indeed, and although sometimes they don't say this to themselves, but they actually do want to come out and they actually do want someone to find out. So you'll start to see the dirty laundry around. So Ms. Lawrence saying that just because this situation, let's just say for sakes, that this situation was a higher situation with Portia and Cordell, that wouldn't take away the perception of him being gay. For some, it would. For some, it would not work. But I just don't like how Kenya was able to confirm without actually knowing and just running with that. I don't like that about these individuals when they do this on this show. It's really distasteful. And then we get into a conversation about let me not change the subject yet, because I also didn't like how Kenya said that Portia is nobody's trophy wife, and then Ms. Lawrence made the reference of her being a certificate, and then Kenya was like, oh yeah, a certificate that hasn't even been authenticated. That's terrible. Kenya was throwing shade all over the place, talking about she doesn't want to leave this resort with a body like Phaedra, about how, Apollo's DVDs aren't selling. She was throwing shade all over the place. But whatever, I don't know. Then we get into her and Apollo. Now, 8 seasons later, we're still talking about this. Now, I know it wasn't 8 seasons later. Don't bite my head off. But at the end of the day, I don't feel that we should still be talking about this. It is so old. It is so old, at least to the viewers. Now, if this is just a continuing communication amongst the cast and the producers and everything, what's going on behind scenes that we don't know anything about, or if it's in Atlanta or whatever the case may be, I guess. But this shit is dry and it's old. Okay? At the end of the day, Kenya, if you did not do anything with Apollo, then you should be okay with that. If Apollo is not continuing to spread. But she goes and saying that he's still spreading using her name and blah, 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 and this and that, and she wants to have a one-on-one with him. I'm like, I guess, whatever. We get into separate cars with the cast and crew. We have Peter, Cynthia, Todd, Kenya, Miss Lawrence, and Candy in one car, and then the rest of the individuals in the other car. And in Candy's car, Kenya wants to bring up how she thinks that Todd is a sensible guy, and she's really starting to see why Candy likes Todd. And I'm like, okay, that's awesome. That's great. That's nice of you to say, Kenya. Real nice of you to say. And then they get into the conversation about when the marriage is going to happen and what the dates are and so forth and so on. And Candy's like, well, we haven't set a date because of the obvious reasons, which is Mama Dearest. And, then they start to get into conversation about that. Now, I thought this was very interesting. It seemed like, well, I guess I can't really say this about Todd, because Todd always voices his opinion with Candy when there isn't an audience. But for some particular reason, it seemed like Todd was really going extra, read all about it, because he had an audience in the car, and the audience were already on Team Todd's side, especially Kenya and Peter. Peter, who has already gone through this particular situation with Cynthia's mom and sister, and Kenya, who just feels that what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. So yeah, it was interesting seeing Todd boast up a little bit and raise up his chest, because Candy still feels that she thinks that she can get married to this man, and just because they're married, Joyce is going to come around. That is not a guarantee. That is not a guarantee. If anything, that's a guarantee that will not happen. That will not happen. I don't know. Just seeing her on The View and seeing her on, I want to say she wasn't on Andy, but just seeing Mama Joyce talk and hearing her talk live, like, even to this current day, she's still not all for Todd. So it's just like, I just don't understand it. I really, really don't. And I don't think any of us will ever understand how Joyce really, really feels about this boy and why she feels the way that she does. I mean, she could say it, but it's deep rooted. Either it's she doesn't want to give Candy up, or there's something wrong, or it's just internal. Maybe she's just psycho and it's internal within her. I can, for the life of me, not understand why. Driver roll up the partition, please. I love Beyonce. Hey, Beyonce. Mwah. After all is said and done, Todd and Candy are able to piece it up by Todd giving her a pound and Candy being like, yeah, whatever, I guess. Can we get the fuck out this car, please? Apollo and Greg took outside showers. Everyone goes on this wilderness walk, which leads to underground caves and the underground lake or water. And here's what I'll say: having gone to Dominican Republic and being on a private resort and being around those tropical elements, and then going to the local beaches in Dominican Republic and being in the underground caves in Dominican Republic, it was interesting seeing them do that because I did that as well. You know what I'm saying? And when they were walking down the steps to lead to the walk toward the cave, they saw this fat ass python. Now, the python doesn't look. The python was looking like he done ate somebody. He was digesting somebody recently. I don't know what he had did, but that shit was huge. When Greg had saw that shit and he jumped, I could not do anything but laugh. And then Nene, she walked away. She was like, Everybody was screaming, getting crazy, having Tourette syndrome moments and shit. You know, that wouldn't have been me. That would not have been me. I would have been Portia crying, but there's no way. And here, I've never seen a python in real life. I've never seen it. But then like these 5 Mexican dudes, they all look alike. They come up, they grab the python, they carry it away. They gotta carry it like this on their shoulders like this and whisk it off. I thought that was hilarious. You know, everybody was all like losing their mind over the whole python situation. Then we get past that. Then we get to these bat caves where bats is all up in the ceiling and stuff. And you know, you got the rock drooping down like snow icicles and stuff like that. I've been in there. Awesome. Great time. Didn't really see bats in the cave that I was in, but I didn't really need to see all that. It was just cool to be underground, so to speak. And then you come up to this area where there's water now. Their situation, it looked like their cave was well lit, okay? And you could see the bottom of the water. Now there were fishes swimming in this cave water. I wouldn't have been in it. That's just me. But the cave that I went in, you couldn't see 3 inches in the goddamn water. And the locals were jumping in, speaking speaking Spanish. And just jumping in. No life vest. I don't know where the hell they got these damn life vests from. Well, this resort, whatever. But wearing life vests and shit and snorkels and all this shit, we didn't get this. They was like, go ahead, jump in the water, jump in the water. I don't know how to, como se dice jump in Espanol. I don't know, yo no sé. Pero they were saying, well, I know un poquito. Rosetta Stone, I need you. But they were just jumping in, and it's like, okay, first of all, I'm not getting in that black ass water because I don't know what's in that water. I'm not trying to catch nothing. I'm not trying to have nothing bite me. I'm not doing it. So I didn't get in the water, but I would have been like Nene, Greg, Peter, and Cynthia not getting in the water. But then again, Cynthia wanted to get in the water, but Peter didn't want to get in the water. Peter was like, I don't do this. You know, Cynthia's like, I want to do something adventurous. Peter's like, I got this adventure for you right here between my legs. I'm like, ew, barf. Barf. Ew. Kenya and Apollo flirting. Kenya's like, come on y'all, let's take all of our clothes and let's get all in the water. Kenya's beautiful. We already know this. Kenya's beautiful. She's built like a brick house. Apollo, the editors had Apollo looking stunned, like he never seen a woman naked before. He was stunned. It looked like he was stone-faced and just trying to figure out, should he get in the water? Should I 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 not get in the water? Babe, can we get in the water? No. Babe, can we get in the water? No. Babe, I want to get in the water. Phaedra's like, damn, all right, let's get in the motherfucking water, but I'm coming with your bitch ass. So they all get in the water. Portia gets in the water, Candy gets in the water. You know, they all get in the water, which was cool, and it was interesting. But just for sake of, like, I understand the whole, like, team thing, but just for sake of, because of the team, I ain't gotta do that shit. What the hell, I'm taking off my clothes, getting this dirty ass. I ain't gotta do that shit. You see them fishes in there? Fish, when you think fish shit? Fish shit in the water. Why I'm getting in some shitty ass fish water? I ain't doing a fish throw up in the water. Who? Anybody got time for that? Okay? Todd is like, whose idea was this trip? Candy's like, Kenya. Todd is like, this is some bullshit. I like Todd. And I like when we be catching these people talking about each other like these little side moments, you know, these side one-liners. They be funny. I'm not talking about the post-confessional shade. I'm talking about on set, current shade. That's what I'm talking about. Kenya taking all the ladies to the excursion to smoke some air smoke and to get hit by the tree branches and to sing some hymns and to hold the statue of a woman that was carrying babies of some sort or something like that. That, like Portia said, I believe in spirituality. I believe in many things, okay? I believe in a higher power of many things, okay? But what I don't want to do is channel things. I don't want to channel anything, okay? I don't want to channel anything that I don't know anything about. You know what I'm saying? Because the fact that cells exist, the fact that the universe exists, the fact that the human body is a magnificent form of life. Okay? We have all of these wonders in the world. And I don't know if you guys have been tuning into Cosmos, but we have all of these fantastic, extraordinary wonders in the world. Some we consider to be because we've been there, done that, we've known of it for so long. But when it comes to channeling spirits and things of that nature, I'm not on board with that. Not I. So, but you know, it was funny. Nene's face when the dude was heading up with the tree band, she was like, what you doing? And when she was trying to breathe in the smoke, and she was like, Nene is a character, and she was a cool character to watch. In this particular episode, I thought it was funny. Candy saying that, you know, she wants some more kids, she wants a boy, and you know, Kenya had a crying moment. Now, I feel for Kenya when she goes to her personal stuff, but at the same time, I don't know. It seems, and I know a lot of y'all ride for Kenya, and that's great, but it seems it's very hard for me to be empathetic to a person that can easily degrade and speak poorly about an individual. When you create this trip to try to bond, and then outside of Portia's presence, you downgrade her marriage and you call her a certificate that wasn't authenticated, but then you want to share yourself with these people. I don't know. It's like it's a wash for me. It really is. Like, I wanted to feel for her when she was crying, but I can't because it seems not authenticated. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That whole, you know, and Nene was cool. But I did like how they all sat down and they were talking about, you know, raising kids and being single parents and wanting to have the father in the household, and Kenya wanted to have a baby, and then she met this man and she was madly in love and she was raising the little boy. She loved the little boy as her own, but then the man couldn't handle the relationship, so he left, and she was depressed for a long time, and then she started dating and didn't know what guy to trust or whatever the case may be. Do we know if her and Walter's situation was an arranged beard? Okay, was her beard for the show? Do we know? Is that confirmed? Because it's like, how can you say one thing about someone else when you had a similar situation? I just don't know. Like, and then she's crying, talking about she wants a baby, but she doesn't want to adopt because she wants to do it the natural way. Like, there's no way for me to really care about that. Not really. Not be authentic. Portia and Phaedra made up a good point, or had a good point when they were in the pool because they weren't really, well, Phaedra wasn't invited to the shaman get Kenya pregnant excursion, and Portia didn't want to channel no spirits when she believes in God. So all is well, they're in the water drinking, having a good time, and they mentioned one particular thing, Marlo. Where's Marlo? Why didn't Kenya invite her? And why hasn't anyone talking about the whole Nene and Marlo situation? And that's a very good question. Everybody's all concerned about what Portia's doing in her marriage, but why aren't we concerned about Kenya, Marlo, and Nene on this trip that Kenya orchestrated? I don't know why Portia didn't even challenge that situation at the table when she was being challenged by everybody else about her marriage. I don't know. I don't know. But what I will tell you is after watching Sheree and Kim last night on the What's Happening live show, it was very interesting because they hit the head right on the nail in saying that Nene knows who to challenge and Nene knows who to go after and Nene knows who to battle. I do not recall Nene walking away from any particular situation, and I honestly think that Marlo situation was the first one that she actually walked away from, because I remember Nene arguing with Marlo before, so I'm not going to sit here and say that Nene is mad at Marlo, scared of Marlo, or Nene won't want to challenge Marlo. I'm not going to sit here and say that because she hasn't really backed down from anything ever. Not that I can recall, okay? But I honestly think that Nene, aka Nene's position was she doesn't want to be perceived as such anymore, and she doesn't want to go off and all that because she's trying to, protect her brand or whatever. I know Nene's going to be on Dancing with the Stars live. I'm not watching that. The only time I ever watched Dancing with the Stars was when Brandy was on, and then that was it. I don't know. Kenya joining the guys to talk to Apollo. Now, here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say about the situation. Should Apollo have spoken with Kenya? Sure, no problem. I don't think Apollo should have went to the side to speak with Kenya. I don't think she should have done that. The reason why he should have done that, the reason why I say that is because he's the one married to Phaedra. Kenya doesn't owe Phaedra a damn thing. They have no ties. But Apollo, knowing that it aggravates Phaedra, should respect his wife and not veer off to the side to speak to Kenya. If anything, Phaedra needs to be present if Kenya wants to speak to Apollo. That is what I feel is the ultimate respect for Apollo to give to his wife. I don't know about y'all, but did y'all understand what the fuck they were talking about? What actually happened between them and who did what and who started what? And then when Apollo was like, you know what you did, or you started it, or it was your fault, or you created this. I'm like, what are they talking about? They were speaking in tongue. And I'm like, editors, can you stop editing and let them fucking speak from the first letter to the last letter? Because I honestly want to know what happened so that we can get clarification and actually answer the question of should we give two fucks? You know what I'm saying? We about to have this whole segment, this last 5 to 6 minute segment of them going back and forth. Yes, you did. No, you didn't. It was your fault. It wasn't my fault. I apologize. No, you didn't. You said I did. No, I didn't. What happened? You started this. You created this. I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about? Nothing was confirmed. Nothing was confirmed but that Apollo thought that he could smash. And to be quite honest, we all know that Apollo could have smashed. And we all know Apollo wanted to smash. But he didn't want to smash to get his ass whooped on national TV. He didn't want to be the man cheating on his wife when he got 2 kids. He didn't want to be that guy on national TV about his fraud and being put in jail on about all that. But he didn't want to be that guy. Because, obviously that cat would have been, pulled out of the bag. But I don't know. At the end of the day, I really want all of these people to genuinely get along. And I want all of these people to be honest in front of each other. But be respectful. Like, the way Peter does it sometimes is just not respectful. It's like, really, I just don't get it sometimes. And then, to be honest, next episode really looks interesting because Todd is arguing with Nene and Kenji just sits off to the sideline. Whatever. And then Greg gets up and he's like, this is going to be the last time you get in my face. I'm like, go ahead, OG. Greg is a good OG. Greg is a good OG. Respects his wife, caters to his rich wife, but for damn sure you ain't gonna disrespect him. And you know what? I respect that for Greg. I do. And I definitely respected Greg a little bit more at that pillow situation and when he stood up for Portia. Greg has some good foundations rooted into him, and or at least that's what it seems like on the show. And it's nice to see that we do have someone that is capable of being that authentic. I'm Wesley from Aconnectiontv. Tell me what you guys thought about this review. Tell me what you guys thought about my viewpoints. Leave comments. I know you will. The next episode is going to be a doozy. And do you guys watch Hell on Hills or Hills on Hells or Nights of the Hills? Sleeping with the Hills? I forget what the damn name of the show is. Blood, Sweat, and Heels. I reviewed like 2-3 episodes of that and I couldn't keep up with it no more. It was, Micah is just a mess. And I couldn't deal with it no more. So y'all let me know if y'all like the show and if the season finale is going to be off the hook. Deuces.